Hello. It is late Wednesday, early Thursday, and I have exhausted the number of videos I had as backup to go for my daily videos. So I'm going to film a few tonight, hopefully enough to go through the weekend. It's nice to have something short just to pop on. I've been enjoying talking to myself, pretending that I'm talking to all of you. I'm going to work on packing up this order that came in while I talk about what is apparently, I did not learn this until yesterday, a huge debacle. Like, I thought a few people were talking about it, but there is just countless videos about the change that perhaps some people were not aware of, but has been in the works for more than a year with Etsy. They are hardball pushing sellers offering free shipping, specifically within the United States. My understanding is that they're also pushing international sellers to do this, free shipping to the US, which seems ridiculous because international shipping in either direction is quite pricey. But specifically what they're pushing at the minute is free shipping from U.S. sellers to other U.S. sellers on orders over $35, which is a bit silly because that's a big box thing in my opinion. I know a lot of marketplaces. I should probably just get started on this, shouldn't I? I know a lot of marketplaces, not necessarily individual mom and pop shops, offer free shipping on orders over a certain amount. And that's become pretty standard. I've seen people commenting in the comment sections that they only, oh, I should use these, that they only buy from sellers that offer free shipping. Because it makes it easy for them. Well, one of the reasons they've given is that it makes it easy for them to calculate the final price. They don't have to think of limiting how much they want to spend on the item because of how much the shipping might be afterwards. And that's all well and good. I like free shipping as well as the next person, but I don't exclusively shop from places that offer free shipping on orders of a certain amount because, quite frankly, I don't always have $35 or $40 or $50, whatever is the limit that they set for you to get free shipping. Ooh, this is a lot harder talking and concentrating on trying to keep a train of thought going and what you're doing at the same time. So, I don't, because I may not have in my budget $50 to spend. So if I'm going to shop, then I accept that I'm going to pay what I pay to get the item I want. And sometimes that means I might wait, if it's not a unique one of the kind item, like we buy our soap on Etsy because I like handmade soap and I don't currently make any. I do know how, but like many other things in my life, I can't afford the buy-in for the supplies to get started. And I would definitely do that as a side business. Lots of people like handmade, organic soaps. There's been, a significant change in the way people think about not just the stuff they put in their body, but also the stuff they put on their body. So that's something that's important. Make sure I don't have any of that one paper. So that's 2. So it affects how I shop because a lot of the sellers that sell soap, they don't do free shipping, or it's if you order a specific amount of stuff, and depending on the time of the year, I frankly may not have whatever their minimum is, and it's usually between $25 and $50. Some places it's $75. Well, yes, it would be easy to pick up $75 worth of soap and get the free shipping. But for me, and I know this isn't a problem for most of you, if you want to pick up an X amount of something that you regularly buy in, like soap, or if you are buying handmade organic shampoo or hand soap for your sink. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So I need 11 sets of strips for this order. So there's that. I don't, if I need to pay shipping, I pay shipping, and I understand that's just, you know, not everybody can offer free shipping. If you're making handmade organic soap, you know, your profit margin, one, may be small. You're not making in huge quantities. You don't get bulk discounts on your supplies, and that sort of thing. So I get that not everybody can offer free shipping, so I'm not going to penalize a seller that makes a wonderful product because they're not going to offer me free shipping for a $4 bar of soap. That's unfair to the seller, and it limits my choices in good quality items, because the person who's offering, I just cut that to the wrong size, because the person that's offering free shipping on a $4 bar of soap, and I think we all know that, you know, anybody who sells knows that the minimum price you can get on a label at Etsy is like $3.63 is the least, and that's for somebody who is located in my state or in California, New Mexico. Even if you get up to Oregon, it's more than whatever is the lowest price. Because a bar of soap's not going to weigh an ounce. A bar of soap is probably going to weigh about as much as a pack of my papers. It just comes in a more compact size. And a lot of sellers put their bars of soap, what do I have available that I can show you, in a specific kind of priority box because it's free. And hello, Amy, what did you do with your thing? Okay, so a lot of sellers use this size box. At the minute, I didn't fill this one with anything, so I'm using it to store some stamps. But, so you can fit 4 to 6 bars, depending on how they're cut, in this box. And, occasionally I have received soaps in padded envelopes, and they don't fare well. And I never buy soap in the summer. I try to stock up before it gets hot, because it's hot here, and if you're buying a glycerin-based soap, it will melt. So there's lots of issues. But a lot of sellers who make soap and candles and stuff like that, for small orders, that is their default size. So, I can't remember the minimum on that, but the minimum on the flat rate envelope that I use through Etsy or eBay is $6.95. Now, if you ship that through Click and Ship through the USPS website, that is, I think, $7.25. So you save a small amount by shipping it through eBay or Etsy. For regular postage, for example, I just mailed something to somebody and it was, I think, 6 ounces. The shipping was $1.75, but you can't purchase that through Click and Ship. You have to go and buy the correct amount of postage or put enough forever stamps, which it never equals out to the price. So you're either having to make a special trip to the post office unless you have a ton of stamps in different denominations, which again, I think we know I don't have the budget for that presently, but I would like to be able to do that, have that in the house. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So I need 5 more sets. So I put forever stamps on it. I put 4 forever stamps, which is $2 and some. And it's a little bit more, but now I know my package is going to get there. It's not going to cost the person on the other end any more money, and so and stuff like that. You know, you don't want anything to be inconvenient for the recipient of whatever it is you're sending. Now I don't say I offer free shipping. I have always said, and it says in all of my listings, shipping is included in the price. And the reason that I did this, well, I will explain that in a minute. So basically, Etsy sellers, many of them feel, and I think it's a legitimate thing, I think they're feeling correctly, if I may be so bold, that they are being strong-armed into offering the free shipping because what they're saying on their website is that your listings will not, if you offer the free shipping, you get preferred placement in search. I do not currently personally do any of their promoted listing stuff. I did not sign up for the Google thing because their minimum was $1 a day. And if I were to get hits from Google totaling $1 a day, then I'm paying Etsy $30 a month. And I just don't have that money. It already costs what it costs, plus all their transaction fees and everything like that. And I just don't feel like I want to do that. Would it boost my sales? I honestly don't know. I don't know enough about that sort of thing. So I don't use their promoted listings. I did not sign up for their stupid Google pay for clicks sort of thing. I feel like this is just more ways to coerce fees out of the seller, which in turn ultimately costs the buyer. Even if you don't say, well, then I'm going to go and raise my prices, to make up for that $30 a month. And I'm incapable of doing that sort of math in my head. So let's say you do their minimum and you actually have the searches and click-throughs, however that works. $30 a month. And let's say you have 100 listings on your shop. So you'd have to raise your prices 30 cents per item to cover that cost. Or you would just have to have enough profit coming in from your store to be able to eat that cost. And, I didn't want 2 of those. That is presently not good. So that's 1, 2, 3. I need 5. So I didn't sign up for that. Mostly because I don't understand it. And I'm not going to sign up for something that I don't understand. And currently, at my energy level, I don't want to spend the time understanding it. And maybe that makes me a bad seller or means that I deserve to get less sales. And so be it. I'm not going to stress about it. It's something that I will look into in the future because for what I sell and for how much I have in my store, 1, 2, 3, 4, I don't think it would be that big of a boost for me. And I don't want to spend the money when my profit margin is low and my sales are low presently. So that's where that's at. So it's the coercion. It's the being made to feel if you don't do this, you're either not going to place at all in searches or you're going to place so far down that nobody will ever see your listings. And that is underhanded and unfair. But, it's not illegal. So however I feel about the morality of that does not really matter because it's not illegal. And Etsy's going to do whatever it does regardless of how I feel about it, regardless of how you feel about it, more than likely. So from that perspective, I did not toggle the switch. I still have that stupid ad at the top of my page that there's no way to turn it off. And they started, as far as I know, doing that. It'll take up So you can't see any of your dashboard metrics when you click on going into your shop. You have to go to, you either have to scroll down or you have to go to your stats page and do it that way. So I find that quite annoying, and that's been there since they rolled it out. And they did the same thing at Christmas, trying to force you into all of their policies that they wanted in place. Free shipping. They wanted you to put in a return policy. They were trying to make people accept returns whether they wanted to or not. And with the nature of my papers, I'll never offer returns because, you know, if you impulse bought papers, that's not my problem. And I don't mean to sound unkind, but, you know, it's a handmade, not necessarily one of a kind, but you know what you're getting when you buy coffee dyed paper. I don't think it's the sort of thing where you order a piece of jewelry and it's not as heavy as you expected, or the quality of it is nowhere near what you thought you were getting for the price. So I feel differently about a pile of papers that's been coffee dyed, because you pretty much know what you're getting. And short of me sending you ripped, torn, stained pages that have nothing to do with the coffee, I don't feel like there's a justifiable reason for you to return that to me. So I don't offer shipping or returns or exchanges. I just think that that's silly for what I offered. But if I offered a different type of product, then I definitely would. And I think I'm in the same boat with most of the people who sell what I sell. I think there are a few that will accept returns or exchanges, but most of them do not. I would have to go in and double check that. Perhaps that's changed in the last year. But they were pushing that sort of thing heavily, very, very heavily over the Christmas, starting in like September or October. And they pushed it straight through to the new year. So they've been driving people to do things for a while now. And they beta tested this free shipping option. But when they beta tested it, they paid for the shipping. Like the seller, it was no cost to the seller. So to roll out now one where they're requiring it, so, you know, it's optional, but they're being heavy-handed about it. And using threatening language, bullying people into doing something they might not otherwise wish to do. And I do not think that is right or fair. So, on them. But when I originally started, it was all calculated shipping. And that's how I prefer it. I prefer that the buyer just pays the actual shipping, and then my prices can be lower in the shop. I never worded it. It does come up with a little thing that says free shipping on Etsy, because when you click, you know, no shipping, that they put that in there. But in all of my item description text, it says that the shipping is included in the price, and this is why I did that. Early on, within 3 months of, you know, when my business picked up enough for this to be an issue, people were put 3, 4, or 5 items in the cart. My average sale at the time was 3 items. But the shipping would be a ridiculous amount. Let's say that anything over a pound, which is basically 100 sheets of paper, 75 can be dicey if I put in a bunch of goodies, but that's not. I calculate the price before any goodies are put, or the weight before any goodies are put in. I'm responsible if I go over a pound by offering goodies to the person. That's on me, and I eat that cost if that does happen. All of the shipping, all of the weights in my shipping section are the item packaged in an envelope but not sealed. So when I put them in the envelope to wait for somebody to buy them, I don't do this part that you see me doing right now. Anybody who's ordered from me knows that my items usually come with a band, and it comes with some paper added for accent, and that wraps around and keeps the product neat and tidy in the envelope. And so if you ordered more than one thing too, you can differentiate between if you ordered 2 50 lots or a 25 lot and a 50 lot. It's, you know right away which one you're looking at. And because it's just fun and it's reusable, you know, you can pull it apart and use it as belly bands or for scraps of paper. It's totally, my idea was that everything that comes in my package can be used by the person receiving it. So there's not very much waste, because we believe in upcycling, recycling, reduce, reuse, recycle. That's our mantra. Even though I don't know that it makes all that much difference, because, you know, corporate America far outstrips the individual person and how much waste goes out in the world. At least I feel that way. So they would order these 3 or 5 items, and it would tell them that the shipping is something ridiculous. So instead of it being $6.95, it would say, you know, shipping is $25 or shipping is $19. And I refund anything that went over. But like me, if I'm going to buy my soap from my favorite seller, I may only have in my bank account exactly what I know. You know, I might be broke at the moment and I have just enough to order the soap with the shipping. So if I go in and I place the items in my shopping cart and it tells me, and it should be that the cost of the soap and the shipping is like together, I order 2 or 3 bars, and let's say the bars themselves are $16, and the shipping should probably be, I don't know how much those little boxes cost, but I imagine it's 7 something. So let's say the shipping is $8. So that's $24 total. Let's say I have $27.98 in my account. I have more than enough to cover that. But I go in and I add in my 3 bars of soap, and I go to check out, and it tells me that the shipping is $19, and the seller very nicely has a posting in their shop that, you know, I'll immediately refund any overages. That's all well and good, but I don't have the cost of the soap plus $19, so I can't order. And I know that there are other people in that situation. They may have exactly the amount necessary to purchase those items if the shipping were calculated right. Now, if somebody goes into my eBay shop and purchases the same 3 items, eBay shipping is occasionally over, but not very often. They're pretty spot on with that. So their shipping calculator works correctly. I have long felt that Etsy shipping calculator sucks, something that I cannot say on this video stream, and that they need to improve it. It's the same with their search algorithm. It is terrible. But you know what? It benefits Etsy. I heard somebody explain it, and I could not for the life of me explain it right now, but it does benefit Etsy to have that shitty search engine and have that shitty shipping thing. They get more fees. If the buyer pays you $18 in shipping, they're taking a chunk. They're taking the listing fee at the beginning. They are taking a chunk of your profit, the amount of money that the person paid you, for a transaction fee, which is a credit card transaction processing fee. Then they are taking a percentage of the sale, whatever that is. It's like 3 or 5% or something. And then they did not used to do this, and this started maybe a little over a year ago. You don't hold me to it, but it hasn't been always this way. They started taking a percentage, and it was after eBay did it, because eBay did not used to, back in the day, take a percentage, a fee off of your shipping that the customer pays you, and they do now. And they justified that because you get a shipping discount. Like I said, when you buy the label through eBay or Etsy, you pay $6.95 currently, and that went up significantly by about I think $1. No, it went up like 50 cents ish. And then if you go and you buy the label through Click and Ship, it's $7.25. And I think if you go to the window and you pay a person at the counter, I think it's actually a little bit more than that. I don't think you pay the same price at the post office that you pay if you go through their website and use their Click and Ship function. So they're taking 4 kinds of fees. They're taking your listing fee, a transaction fee, a percentage of your sale total, including the shipping, or, well, not, but that's a separate fee. There's a fee for your shipping as well. So they're taking a percentage of money from you, from the full amount the person paid you, and then you've got to pay for your shipping label on top of that. So I could make a $60 sale, and by the time it's all said and done, between all of their fees and the shipping label, again, anything over £1, so if somebody ordered $60 worth of stuff, you can assume that's 3 to 5 items out of my shop, depending on if they ordered paper, like full sheets, or if they ordered index cards. For example, this order is 5 items. It's 2 packs of paper and 3 sets of index cards, and I can give you some exact figures. I can't tell you who ordered it. I don't think it's anybody that would follow, that is in our live streams, and but they ordered, so there, let's go. And I'm having a sale too, so I even got less than that, but this will hold true. So their order total was $60.75. Now, I'll put that in the calculator, because we both know, like, there's just you and me. The audience is one distinct entity. No, between you and I, so $60, and now I can't even remember. That's how short my attention span is, people. $60.75. And then I take out the label, because this is going to all fit in a flat rate envelope. So take out the $6.95. That's $53.80. But what I would actually receive, and I have seen this, I can't calculate it correctly now because I am having a sale in my Etsy shop, so there's already a discount on there. But so it says $53.80. So that's my money after the shipping label is calculated with. Etsy will take its 4 fees, and if I take out my listing fee, and so I'm offering a discount, but Etsy takes their chunk off the full price. They don't say, so this item was $60.75, and because it was over $60, the person got 20% off. Well, Etsy doesn't calculate their fee based on what I would receive, which is $48.60. Is that right? I can't see my glasses. Yeah, it's $48.60 is supposedly my money. They don't calculate their fees off that $48.60. They're calculating their fees off the $60.75. So I am eating the cost of the discount, which was my choice. That I'm not bitching about that. But then I'm also eating a higher percentage of fee based on the original amount, not the sale amount. So there is that. So if this were not on sale, $60.75. After the label, it's $53.80. After they're done with all their fees, that's approximately another $5 to $6. We'll split it in the middle and call it $5.50. So I would get $48.30, which is 30 cents less than the. So that is it's slightly more than 20% of a sale after all the fees are taken out and the shipping label is taken care of, because my shipping is included in the price. Because when they were doing it, then I would have to refund, and yes, I get refunded the fees and everything, but I understand why they're not making any effort to make their shipping calculator any better. Because if I were not an honest person, let's say the overage was only a quarter, I still refund that. But maybe another seller who is doing the same thing just goes, oh, it's only a quarter, I'm going to just keep that and not say anything. The seller will never know, or the buyer will never know. So depending on how the seller actually works, you may never see any of that overage. They may be just like, okay, that's what it is, I'm going to take that money and run with it. And sure, they might lose sales over time for having such high shipping. But I had a significant number of complaints, and I'm sure there are people in my financial situation where they're like, well, I don't have the money for that. I don't have the money to pay you the cost of the items plus an extra $20 essentially. You know, is there something you can do? And I tried coupons to reduce the shipping. I tried a variety of things, and none of them were successful. So I talked to, if I more or less beta tested the idea with some of my long-term customers. I said, well, what if I just worked the price in? And they're like, well, then I'm paying you $6.95 on each item for shipping, or $3.63, or whatever it is. And so then you're talking about on each item, I'm paying you, so every item over one, I'm basically paying you, let's call it $3.50 extra. So if I order 3 items, you're making an extra $7 that does not in any way go towards shipping. And it would probably be more like $3.50, because once you reach those 3 items, unless you ordered index cards only, you're going to go over the pound, and that's going to cost me $6.95. So with 3 items, let's say let's just talk about this as if it were 3 paper packs. You're talking about over a pound, that's $6.95. So if you charge $3.50 for each item worked into the price, they would still be overpaying you by $3.50. So I said, well, what if I do this? What if my average, like I said, my average order at the time was 3 items, 3 to 5 items. I said, well, what if I make it so that it's fairly fair? I say the average order is 4, because that's between the 3 and the 5. And I figured that if somebody's ordering that amount, I calculate the postage at whatever it was. It was not $6.95 at the time. It was $6.55 or $6.25. It was over $6, but not yet $6.95. Let's just say that. And they were like, yeah, that would be fair. So I divided the $6.95 between 4. And I'll do the math for you here, because I don't remember it anymore. I have a cheat sheet for when I do new products. And even now I don't even charge whatever that was, because on some of the smaller items, $6.95 divided by 4. So that's basically $1.73. So I raised the price of each item by $1.70. And that was fine. But then my sales dropped after the Christmas holidays this year, and it was no longer the case that the average order was 3 items. The average order then became 1 item, and the shipping worked into that is $1.70. So I'm eating the rest of the cost for whatever it is. And to the East Coast, sometimes it's I think it's $5.10 or something like that for some of the places on the East Coast. And for, places close to me, it's only like the 6 or the 3, whatever, like $3.63, within that range. It doesn't quite hit $4. And for some of the places in the middle country, it's that same $3.63. Again, it depends on how far away you're going. But the further away you get, then you're hitting into, around $4.50. So depending on where it was going and how many ounces, a single item typically is 4 to 7 ounces after the goodies are put in. And it's between 4 and 6 ounces. With, depending on how many goodies I throw in there. Sometimes I have an excess of stuff and I get slap happy with what I use for goodies. But again, the shipping never included goodies. The weight is the actual item in an envelope. When I, was testing out how much stuff costs to ship, depending on where it goes. So a lot of research went into my original shipping prices. It used to be I could just let them calculate it, but theirs is the worst I've seen of any place I've ever used to sell things. And I used to sell on when Yahoo had their auction thing that was competing with eBay that died a horrible death. I don't know why I just did that, because now I probably made it skinnier than the other one. Yep, I did. I was not thinking. So I've been on a number of places to sell. I've never used Amazon because I feel like it benefits Amazon. It does not benefit unless you're like a super big seller. I don't know how Thrift Books does it. I have seen them on both on both Amazon and eBay, and they offer their books $3.79 plus free shipping is usually their minimum price, and then it goes up depending on demand. But I don't know how they do that. When you go to their website, you have to order, I think, at least $12 worth of stuff to get free shipping. So they must sell in a high enough volume that they get a discount through the post office the same way Amazon probably does, which is how. And Amazon shipping isn't free. You have to be a Prime member. Well, you can get, if you order over, it used to be $35, now it's $25 on Amazon to get their free shipping. But it's free shipping, it's not free 2-day shipping. The only way you can get the 2-day shipping free is if you are on Prime. If you just order enough stuff to reach $25, it's at their convenience. So, for example, I tested this tonight. I put just over $25 worth of stuff in my cart, and I went to check out. And if I ordered it right now, or right when I was doing it, the free shipping says it would be here between Tuesday the 30th and August 2nd. So if you're a right now person, you don't get that craving fixed, but you do get your free shipping. And with the big box companies, we've all come to expect, to a certain degree, when you're ordering from a bigger store, not necessarily a mom and shop, that it's coming right now, not it's coming a week from now. And I admit to being guilty from that. I looked at that and I went, I want it in 2 days. But I don't have the money to pay Amazon Prime right now. It comes for renewal every year on my birthday, and that's one of the things I give myself for my birthday, because I don't celebrate my birthday, and my son is not a gift giver, and I don't have people in my life that are gift givers. So I give myself 2 things every year, and one of them is Amazon Prime. Well, this year rolled around and our business had dropped significantly enough that I let Amazon Prime go. And they do now have, which I found out when I went to drop it, a $12 a month option. But I can't even afford that at the minute. Like, our budget is just tight enough that I don't want to have another automatic thing coming out. The only luxury I am allowing myself presently is Netflix, and I may in fact have to let that go. Which will make me very, very sad. But YouTube will still be there for now for free until they decide they're going to start charging for that. I know you can get YouTube Red or whatever it is, and there's like premium content and stuff on there. But presently, for mostly what I watch, my son is very against getting rid of YouTube. He never used to watch it, but now he has a long distance boyfriend, and they do marathon movie days. They watch TV shows together through some other service. They log into my account and they watch together TV shows, and I can't hear everything, but they get very loud about it. And I don't hear what the boyfriend says, but I can hear what my son says, for some of it. And then I usually put on headphones and plug it into my laptop and watch YouTube videos, because I feel like that's invading his privacy. Those are private moments between them, and I don't want to share in that, because if they actually went somewhere for a date, I would not be like witnessing their banter. But it's very cute, and I want them to, have fun. Now, he's got access to Prime, which we don't have right now, but I think we all know that, I don't think there's super great, super fantastic things on Prime. There's some really good content, but I don't think you have days and days and days of binge watching. So they've watched Stranger Things, all 3 seasons together. They did the Umbrella Academy, and they were watching something else that I was like, oh, is it any good? And she's like, you wouldn't like it. So, whatever, I don't remember what it was right now, but Um, I think it's really a sweet thing for them to do. They game together also, but I think we all know how I feel about my son and his first-person shooter games. I don't think I've been shy about that. So, I would prefer that was not their primary activity. And so shipping is included in my items, but it's spread out over the items. You would have to order 3 to 5 items before shipping is conclusively paid for in the price of the item. And that was to be fair for the customers, because they were making a valid point. It's not fair for that third item that has the $3.50 in it to cover shipping, or even if you were just flat out going, I'm going to mail everything priority mail, and then raising the price of everything by whatever the priority mail envelope currently costs, which is something I could do. I could just say, everything goes out priority mail, suck it. I would have to be more professional than that, but I have seen some sellers where they're like, I only sell priority mail. Typically, they don't have $5 items, though. You're talking about items that are already higher priced, like a jewelry seller who's selling a ring for $60 or $100. Well, it may not be a big deal for them to say, I'll ship everything priority mail and it's free, because their cost, whatever they're putting in for their profit, it wouldn't seem excessive. But if I'm selling a $5 item and I'm going to tell you, well, everything goes priority mail, so you pay the $5 for the item or whatever the price is. I think my lowest priced item is $4.25. I think that's my lowest priced item. So if I suddenly added on $6.95 to that, well, that item's going to seem ridiculously overpriced for what it is. And I think I can't even remember what it is. But let's go. The index cards are $5.25. So if I said, if you ordered 1 pack of index cards from me, and you wouldn't, would you? If it was $5.25 for the index cards, and let's say we'll take off the $1.70 that we know is worked in there, that I'm honest about. It says shipping isn't, and it's not even the full amount. $1.70, and some of you may feel that, so that would be, the item is $3.55. And we both know that I could not ship this item by itself. I think weighs 3 ounces. I'm not 100% sure. So that's probably about $1.75 to ship. I think that's correct. So let's say I have it in my shop, $3.55, and I decide tomorrow I'm gonna, no matter how big or small the item, I'm going to send it priority mail. So let's now add on the $6.95, which is the minimum, and that's if you can fit it into that flat rate envelope, and it goes up from there. So now this suddenly is $10.50. Well, why? This is only 30 together. This is only 30 index cards. That's not worth $10.50, even if I've dyed it and it's a special unique item. It's still not worth $10.50. Even I wouldn't pay $10.50 for my own dyed cards. That's ridiculous. So you see the conundrum there. And additionally, you can't say you have free shipping, which I don't in my, I don't have any choice over what buttons Etsy puts when I click in my shipping that the cost is 0. It puts the little thing there that says free shipping. In my item descriptions and all of them, it says that the cost of shipping is in the price of the item. And then my long-term customers know, and I would hope that other people would be able to figure out that even if it's in the cost of the item, it couldn't possibly be covering the full cost because of how the items are priced. Now, some people may not shop with me because they read that blurb and they're like, well, I don't know how much they've actually raised the prices. And I've even had people, before my items were increased by the $1.70, tell me my items were overpriced. Like, they were looking at how much printer paper costs, and they're like, it's less than a penny a page. Well, it's not for the paper I use. I think the paper raw all by itself in the quantity I buy it for the 24-pound paper. I think it's like it's 1 cent, and then whatever's the next place, it's 1.825, something like that. So it's basically 2 cents a page. But that's before it's coffee dyed, ironed, pressed, you know, all of that. And I have to, and it doesn't, the 1 cent a page, they're not taking into account my time, the coffee that went into dyeing that, the tea that went into dyeing that, the, you know, all of the things that went into making that AT dyed paper, the cinnamon or whatever else I might add. They're just saying, well, this should only be a penny a page. And after about the 15th person said that to me, I'm like, well, why don't you go out and buy yourself a ream of paper and dye it up yourself and get back to me and let me know, you know, if you still think I should be charging a penny a page. And no, that wasn't professional, and I only ever said that to one person, but the tone of her conversation to me was extremely rude. And so I didn't feel just, it just made me feel good, even though it was the wrong thing to do. And I've never done it since, and I had never done it before. You know, I try to treat people the way I want to be treated, and I have extreme social